Tonight on DC News Now, honoring the lives of DC kids killed by guns. The Vigil calling for action and accountability.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia's fight to return home to Maryland continues. A judge weighing in as he's facing serious charges, plus the threat of being deported again.
We got to enjoy much quieter weather today. We'll let you know if we can keep that trend rolling as we head toward the weekend.
A Northern Virginia teen helping victims of the catastrophic Texas floods.
If you feel like you can't do much, there's still something you can do. You should go out and do it.
His nonprofit and the fundraiser he's hosting this weekend.
Giddy up in Maryland, a former NFL player hosting a summer camp for local kids.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Susan Tran.
And I'm Chris Flanagan. Tonight, remembering the lives of kids killed by gun violence. Southeast DC, but it was also a call to action.
DC News Now's Max Marcillo was there, and he tells us so much about the heartbreak that he saw, as well as a resolve to make the community safe.
This vigil that just wrapped up in Southeast DC, it's been a very emotional night. The people here say it's also a very important night because just in the last few days in our city, we have seen 2 kids shot and killed, 17-year-old Zoe Kelly Hickman and 3-year-old Honesty Cheadle. Now, this evening started off on an emotional high when Zoe Kelly Hickman's mother and father shared a hug and tears. They lost their child on July 4th. Meanwhile, 3-year-old Honesty Cheadle was shot earlier this week and died just the other day. There are rewards in both of their homicides. In fact, Metropolitan Police Department have named a suspect in the shooting of Honesty Cheadle. This man you see here on your screen, Charles Rucker, he is wanted for the killing of the 3-year-old girl. But here, many friends and family members of Zoe Kelly Hickman remembered her life and also called for justice and change.
We're going to be honest with the youth here tonight and say we have failed you all. As elected city officials, we have failed you. We have forgotten the innocence of our youth. We have forgotten how precious the lives are of our youth. Not anymore.
On the 4th of July, I seen my baby that morning. That evening, I didn't see her no more. She never came back home. She never returned to us. And whomever did this, please know that justice is going to be served.
The ANC commissioner who represents this part of the district read a list of names of kids who have been killed by gun violence right here in their neighborhoods. He says accountability needs to happen so no more kids are added to the too long list of names that he read right here. Reporting in Southeast, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All right, developing now at 9, a federal judge will consider a request for Kilmar Abrego Garcia to be sent home to Maryland to await trial on human smuggling charges.
Now, his attorneys are arguing if they release him from that Tennessee jail next week, the Trump administration will just deport him again without giving him a chance to defend himself. Back in March, the White House admitted to mistakenly sending him to El Salvador's notorious prison despite not having a criminal record, but then refused to comply with a Supreme Court decision to facilitate his return. The Trump administration insisting he is a dangerous gang member and finally bringing Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. to face human trafficking charges, all in connection to a traffic stop in Tennessee back in 2022. His attorneys calling the allegations preposterous and saying that it's just the Trump administration trying to justify their mistake.
Argue that Mr. Abrego Garcia has the right to meaningful notice and meaningful opportunity to be heard by an immigration judge prior to being put on any plane.
There is a hearing again scheduled tomorrow at 1 in the afternoon. Be sure to tune in to DC News Now on air and online for the very latest updates.
All right, let's get a first check on the forecast. And meteorologist David Matson, pretty quiet out there, but once again, pretty muggy.
Yeah, we can't just seem to shake it. Are we sick of this mugginess yet?
Yes. Can we just have nice, crisp, sunny maybe 75 days.
I mean, it's not too much to ask, Mother Nature, right? Come on. I mean, hey, yeah, folks, we are still dealing with the mugginess, no doubt, but at least it is finally quiet. The radar has not had a lot to show all day, and we're keeping that going here into the night. We only had a couple of isolated showers right around 6, 7 o'clock this evening, one of those right near D.C., but as quickly as it developed, it fizzled right out again. So we're thankful we don't have any sort of severe storms, heavy rain to kick out of the picture as we go later in the night. But we were just talking about it, and it is clearly out there. All of that mugginess, extremely high dew points with this dark green shade. I don't think the color has changed at all on this map the entire week. So as we keep that mugginess around, we are going to likely see at least some fog developing as we head into the start of your Friday. Light winds, lots of moisture, warm temperatures, perfect combo. So be ready for that. It's going to be a little more of a headache than anything else for the start of your Friday. But we do keep quiet weather into the start of the day tomorrow. Will that continue to be the trend as we head toward the weekend, or are we expecting things to turn stormy once again? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, we'll see you then. Meanwhile, a massive display of grief you can see here in Central Texas as people honor the more than 120 people killed during the catastrophic flooding on the 4th of July. Now, dozens dead are children.
First responders are still trying to determine who is among the 170 still missing when the raging Guadalupe River overtook so many communities in Hill Country. The Texas governor saying that crews will search for every last person, but rescue efforts are really complicated due to the heat and overwhelming debris, including full-on homes and cars and trees. President Trump and the First Lady are set to visit the region tomorrow.
And the devastation is really compelling so many people to help, including this teen in Northern Virginia. He's raising money for families in Texas to recover and rebuild. DC News Now's Ben Dennis joining us live tonight in Alexandria.
And Ben, this high school student apparently has done this before, really just rising to the occasion and stepping up.
That's right. 14-year-old Alex Tealman is going above and beyond to help out these flooding victims in Texas. He's routinely involved here at his church in Old Town Alexandria, now getting himself some friends involved as well to drum up support for those who've lost so much. Fresh inside the family home after summer camp, Alex Tealman prepares to host a hike Saturday to raise money for the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund in Texas.
How awful, like how horrible. If you feel like you can't do much, there's still something you can do. You should go out and do it to the best of your ability.
The Gonzaga College high school student started Mercy Trails, a nonprofit that's been organizing hikes nationwide to give back, collecting backpacks full of school supplies in advance, as well as new coats and food donations.
We want to help teenagers to be empowered to help others in their community, whether that be the homeless or victims of flooding like it did in Texas, really anyone that is suffering.
Alex is among do-gooders in the DMV, continuing to help Texas flood victims. DC's World Central Kitchen continues feeding families, and 2 Swiftwater rescue teams in Virginia were deployed to the Lone Star State. Meantime, this Virginia team is hoping this hike will spur inspiration.
Hopefully to do the same whenever another tragedy happens, or to help, as I said before, people in their community like the homeless.
And Alex says that his hike will happen Saturday morning at the Old Town Alexandria waterfront. They're working to pin down a very specific time. However, he keeps his Mercy Trails website up to date as they will continue to put information out for those who want to participate, whether you want to register in a group or by yourself as well. We'll have that information at dcnewsnow.com. Live in Alexandria, Ben Dennis, back to you.
Yeah, way to go, Alex. Some great work there. Ben, thanks. All right, an oil spill cleanup underway now in Laurel, Maryland. It happened at the Supply Lane Rec Center. The WSSC Water saying last night's storm knocked down a tree, damaging a transformer, sending about 6 gallons of oil into that reservoir. Now, they say the drinking water is safe. However, the park is closed for now, and WSSC Water will post updates online. Guess who's back? Back again. No, we're not talking Slim Shady.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? No, it's our favorite working beagle over at Dulles Airport, Freddie. Take a look. Freddie is back to sniffing out contraband for Customs and Border Protection. You might remember last month he discovered 100 pounds of food in a suitcase. A traveler was trying to smuggle into the country from Egypt, and when Freddie alerted his handler, the man kicked the 25-pound beagle, sending him airborne. The man pleaded guilty and was shipped out of the country, while Freddie spent the past 2 weeks recovering.
I've received text and phone calls from friends, not only here in the U.S., but outside of the country. It's gone international. Thank you for your support. Even when you don't hear about us on the news, the officers and specialists here are working diligently every day. It's always nice for all of them to know when they're supported.
Customs officials say they've gotten so many messages offering donations, but since Freddie, they say, has, quote, pretty good insurance, they'd rather people help the thousands of animals in much greater need at the local shelters.
Yeah, great to see Freddie back at work, right? Looking great there.
Deserves all the treats and belly rubs when he's off duty.
No doubt about that.
All right,
Welcome
now
back.
to a former pro football player turned farmer and now camp counselor. He is roping in kids from Maryland to give them a summer experience of a lifetime.
This is pretty impressive. They're hiking, fishing, and encouraged to horse around. DC News Now's Tim Reed shows us how these kids are ready to saddle up.
Riding horses is something these kids at camp in Upper Marlboro have never experienced. The camp is being held here at Westbrook Farm. The mission is to give these kids experiences with horses they will never forget.
Good, we're gonna have our thumbs on top, we're gonna have our toes up, and we're gonna have our leg giving her body a hug.
Dozens of kids get to do something they've never done before. They get to go horseback riding every day in summer camp at the Westbrook Farm.
I really like this camp. At first, I thought it was like going to be really boring, but now I actually experienced it, and it seems really good.
9-year-old Andrew Bennett and his friends are having the time of their lives. Not only are they getting to learn horsemanship, but they get to paint equipment on the farm, go fishing and hiking.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. When I first came here, I didn't think that we was going to ride horses, and we rode horses, and it was the first time that I ever rode a horse, so it was really fun.
You're gonna engage your core, little back and belly muscle. Super job. You look good.
Since the weather is hot and humid, camp instructors make sure all the kids stay hydrated.
Because as much as we sweat, we have to put back in. Everybody's gotten a little bit lightheaded when they aren't drinking enough, and they've got to keep putting it in because you're sweating it out.
Farm owner and former NFL player with the Philadelphia Eagles, Brian Westbrook, says he is partnering with the county sheriff to give these kids opportunities to be outdoors and learn new experiences.
Well, it gives them opportunity to first see horses, to be around horses, to ride horses, to understand horsemanship.
The 1-week summer camp started on Monday, but there will be 2 more sessions for kids in August. In Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.
Looks like a lot of fun.
It does.
I wanted to see Tim on a horse.
Lassoing
Welcome, Tim. Coming up on DC News Now, take a look at this harrowing sight on the side of the road there. A tractor trailer left dangling. The complicated efforts to get everyone to safety.
Mexico's president slamming the U.S. Why she says closing the border to cattle over screwworm is exaggerated.
Then at 9:30, Back to the Future for the Commanders, what fans are saying about their new throwback jerseys.